Welcome to this channel about cryptocurrency education. Today I'd like to talk about how Cardano could die and what needs to happen so that it dies. So please, before you criticize this video or dislike it, listen in, because this is something to be aware of as community. I think it's a very important statement, and that statement has actually come from Charles Hoskinson. So it's not something that I put out there, that is my personal opinion. Yes, I will share my opinion as well, but this all has been put out there by himself, and I support Cardano. I'm in it for the long term, so I of course don't want that this project dies, but there is always a risk, and it's important to be aware of it. And not many YouTubers or other people talk about it, and I found it quite important to push this video out there, and not just videos about how high can the price go, because it's what everybody wants to listen to. But you need to, as an investor or trader, possibly more as an investor, you need to be aware of this as well, and especially if you support this project and you're part of the community. But before I go into this video even further, if you basically it would be great if you could support this channel. It's still a small channel. It has grown over the last few days, but it's still a small channel. I want to put the word out there for Cardano. I want to spread the word. I want to be part of the Cardano community, and really make this a great Cardano channel. So if you like the video, it would be great if you can leave a like and subscribe and help me to support the Cardano community. That would be great. So let's go into it. Now, first of all, people have talked about, can Bitcoin die? What will happen? What needs to happen so that Bitcoin dies? Basically, some people say that, and this was actually also, I think, by Charles Hoskinson, that he said as soon as an altcoin flips it, Bitcoin will die. Now, he's probably not a great friend of Bitcoin. I'm not entirely sure, but also in this latest stream or podcast with Lex Friedman, he actually said that he believes that Ethereum will at some point overtake Bitcoin. So that Charles already talked about Bitcoin dying, but now he actually talked about Cardano dying. And he said that in the same podcast with Lex Friedman. And I'd like to go through the different points, and I believe they are very significant. And before I start, I actually have a lot of respect for Charles Hoskinson, that he actually basically put out and communicated these risks, and then he very openly and honestly, I mean, as one of the highest persons in the Cardano Foundation, he actually openly and honestly talked about what he thinks can happen, the risks that can happen that could lead to the whole project failing. And let me go into this. So the first point is actually that he said that the first reason that Cardano could die is that the whole decentralization fails. So as you probably know, there are 5 main project phases in Cardano, and you can see them actually here. And we are currently in the 3rd phase, in the smart contracts phase. And what he basically says is that the last phase, actually, if all the phases are completed, it means that Cardano will become entirely decentralized. So at that point, there will be really nothing behind the project anymore. There won't be, it should really run without an institute. It should run without any person or any company or institute behind it. So it will be completely decentralized without anyone behind the project. So pretty much AI wise, but he says if this does not work, then the entire project will not work. And he also says that even in the phases in which we are now, basically phase 3 and phase 4, which is, I don't know if it started yet, but these 2 phases as well, he doesn't know if it will work. So even the smart contract platform, I mean, this is still an experiment. And also the implementation of the decentralized governance model and the scaling. If any of that fails, he said, the whole project could fail. Yeah, and it's important to be aware of, because even though everything's been going quite well in Cardano, he also says very clearly that the whole crypto space, every cryptocurrency out there at the moment, it is a experiment. It is still an experiment, and we are still very much at the beginning of this, and some aspects we don't really understand. But basically, he says very, very clearly that everything is still an experiment. So we don't know what happens. Even though everything looks good, it could still be that the whole project fails, because one of these project phases turn out to fail. Now, also he said that if the community doesn't want to support the project any longer, so if the community, for example, says that the price, they get frustrated because the price doesn't go up anymore, or they are losing patience because, maybe phase 3 or 4 might be delayed for maybe even up to a year, and if people just want higher values and higher prices, and higher, more money, basically, more gains. And so if the support of the community fades or reduces, and this sort of network effect goes away, then he says that the community actually needs to be open and flexible, need to support the project. But the risk is obviously that if certain things might fail or might take a bit longer, this whole support might go away, and that is a major risk from his point of view to this entire project of Cardano and the rollout of these 5 phases. And he also compares this actually to Bitcoin, when he said that the Bitcoin community has become very maximalistic and is very focused on price and is sort of become greedy. And that is what I read out of his statement, or I hear from his statement, that he basically criticizes the Bitcoin community for being too greedy. And what does this mean for the Cardano community? From my point of view, it means that we should really focus on the project, not really focus on the money so much, not always talk about higher, the value going higher and higher. And it's all about backing the project. I mean, I'm in it for the long term, and I believe if you genuinely support the project, honestly, be in it for the long term. Yes, there are always traders who want to make the quick buck here and there, quick money. But with all of these projects, it's really about being, for me personally, it's all about being in it for the long term. It's about supporting the project. We are part of something great here. We are part of maybe even the new internet of blockchain. And there is more to it than just make the quick money, And it's not really about that. It's really about supporting this whole new infrastructure and this whole new innovation of the crypto space. So I personally have a lot of respect for him that he said that there are these risks. And I also read out from this that he doesn't really like this development that is currently happening about everybody talking about the price and the value and everything. He genuinely loves this project, as we all know, and he works probably day and night on this. And we all need to understand that this project is still in its beginning. So that even though everything is looking good, and even though we are still in phase 3, but this is still sort of the beginning of everything. We don't really know how this will turn out. So it's important to be aware of these risks. So I hope you just didn't dislike this video because of the title, because it genuinely is what he talked about. He talked about the risks that Cardano as a project faces, like every project. Every project can die. In every project there are risks. And if these risks are not managed, then, people aren't aware of risks. These risks can just suddenly come around the corner and nobody saw them coming. So I have a lot of respect for him to sit in this popular podcast and talk about all these risks and making the community aware. And for me, this was really, really great and very important, and not many people talk about it, but I just thought I need to put out a video and talk about this and make the community aware as well. So hopefully you liked this video. If you did, then please smash the like button. And if you want to follow me on this crypto journey and support this channel in spreading the word about Cardano and other cryptocurrencies, then please be with us, subscribe, and also see you in the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye.